Hey YouTube, today we are going to start off this video with something fun and setting up these flower pots for my kids to paint. First thing I'm doing is putting a cardboard box down. These are the flower pots I got. They are from Home Depot and they were $3 a piece. They had little mini plants, like house plants, for 3 for $12, which I feel like is a really good price. And my middle son Maverick has been begging for a plant of his own, so I felt like this was the perfect thing for us to do this spring, was for every kid to have their own plant and their own pot to decorate. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill up this little tray with all different colors of paint and get them started. And while they are going ahead and painting, I'm going to clean my kitchen. That's normally what I like to do with my kids when we're doing homeschooling, is I put them at this counter and have them do their homeschool activity, whatever it is, and I will do the dishes at the sink or prep something in the kitchen. If you're new here, hi, my name's Nissa and I make videos about motherhood and homemaking. I love thrifting and DIYs. Here's just an overview of my kitchen. This is what I'm going to tackle while my kids are painting those flower pots. Once I have all the dishes done, I'm going to go ahead and paint a flower pot for my daughter. She's only 2 years old and she is napping in this video, so I'm going to paint her flower pot for her, and then we're going to go ahead and start planting our seeds in our garden. There are certain seeds that I want to keep inside in trays, and then there are others that can go right into the ground. I filmed this video on April 3rd and 4th, and we live in Pennsylvania, so it is still a little chilly out. We aren't past the risk of there possibly being another frost. However, there are plants that can be planted outside this early in the spring. We have lettuce, arugula, beets, and peas, so definitely stay tuned and check out what I'm going to be planting in my yard. I love having a white sink, however it does get yellow sometimes, so I like to use the Scrub Daddy Power Paste to clean the bottom of it. It's non-toxic and I think it works pretty well. However, I did get a comment that using like dish soap and baking soda can also do the trick, so I think I might try that out soon as well. Sadly, when my husband was installing the sink, he accidentally broke the corner of it, so I normally just hang a hand towel over top of it to hide that crack. Honestly, it makes me so sad and I can't find this sink online anymore, and we cut our countertops to the shape and custom of that sink, so it makes me so sad. But anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and start painting this flower pot now. It is literally one of my favorite things to do, is paint. I find it so relaxing. It just fills my cup so much. And I'm thinking about doing this whole flower pot in sunflowers. I love sunflowers so much, and I have them sitting, like little mini ones sitting on my counter right now. You can see them in this clip, and that's kind of what inspired me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paint a ton of white flowers and then go over top with yellow paint to make the yellow pop a little bit more. It felt like there was still some empty space on this flower pot in between the flowers, so I decided to paint some green vines. I know sunflowers don't have vines, they have like long stalks, but I don't know, for whatever reason, the vines was what I went with. Moving on to day two, I have this table that I trash picked. It was originally yellow and I spray painted it pink a couple years ago and it is now rusting. I still have the same spray paint in my basement that I used. So I'm just going to go ahead and retouch that up. I am going to keep this on my porch this year, but in the past couple years I have kept it in the yard. Now that the flower pots are completely dry, we are going to go ahead and pot up our plants. My kids picked out a fern, a snake plant, and a pothos, so I'm going to let them go ahead and plant these themselves. I think it's really important that kids understand how to just plant their own food, their own plants, and just understand like that whole process. So I'm going to let them go ahead and do this. Here's an overview of all of the seeds that I got this year and that I want to attempt to grow. This is my third year gardening. I've had these two big flower beds in my yard. It was like my #1 priority about our yard is that I wanted to be able to grow our own food. The only thing I'm not going to plant right now is the cucumbers. They need to wait until after the risk of frost to go into the ground. And what I'm going to put in these trays is the onions and the peppers and jalapenos. I've started peppers in trays before and they've always done really well. We grow peppers every single year. It's one of our favorite vegetables or fruits, whatever you want to call it. But I've never grown onions before, and from watching a handful of videos, it seems like the best way to go about it is in a tray. So I'm going to try that out this year. I really hope we get a good yield of onions. I want to start growing more shelf-stable foods. I did watch a video on how to grow sweet potatoes, so I want to experiment trying that out and hopefully planting some sweet potatoes in our garden beds. My kids love sweet potatoes so much, and I noticed that they don't sprout as quickly as normal potatoes do in my house. I don't know if maybe it's because I don't store them properly, but I just am hoping that if we did get a good yield of potatoes this year, it would benefit our family really well. So here we are just doing one tray of onions. You're supposed to put like 2 to 3 seeds in a container, and then when they start sprouting, you pull them apart and plant them into the ground. And then in the other container, we're just gonna do peppers and jalapenos. For the peppers and jalapenos, you also want to put 2 to 3 seeds in a little container, and then you just pull the weaker of the sprouts and discard that and let the strongest one grow. In these containers, I am planting lettuce and arugula. I am using an organic soil. I like to grow organic food, if you couldn't guess that already. And I am just going to do 1 pot of arugula and 1 pot of lettuce. I've noticed that lettuce and arugula do well in containers. They also do really well in the ground, but I grow them every single year. And there are certain things that do a lot better in the ground, so I want to keep my garden beds open for them and put these in the containers. That way I can still have them, but I don't need to be using my garden beds for them. My kids had been playing in this garden bed and really messed up a lot of the soil. It is better to leave your soil untouched. That's what keeps the nutrients in it a little bit better. I have been doing some research on that, so I am a little disappointed that this soil has been moved around a lot. And normally when you move your soil around, you need to add fertilizer into it. So I'm hoping that if I just lay it all back out, it hasn't been disturbed too much. And then I'm going to put an arch in between these 2 beds this year. And on one side of the arch, I'm going to plant peas, and on the other side, I'm going to do my cucumbers and some butternut squash. So right here, we are going to go ahead and just make a little trench and line out our peas. My son is going to help me put these in. And I have grown peas before in the past, but haven't had a great experience. So I'm hoping maybe if we grow them this way and I plant a lot more of them, that we will have a better yield. So fingers crossed on that. I will definitely keep you guys updated. And then on the other side, I'm going to put the butternut squash in the ground. I have never grown a squash before. I have grown watermelon in one of the garden beds, and we did get a couple of watermelons last year. However, they did not taste very well, so I don't think I'm ever going to do them again. In this corner, I'm going to plant just 1 zucchini plant. I normally just do 1 zucchini plant a year, and I feel like my zucchinis always take off and I'm left with a million zucchinis that I don't know what to do with. So I feel like 1 is just enough for us, but we love making zucchini bread and zucchini muffins. And then I am going to try planting beets. This is my first time ever doing beets, so I'm just going to do 1 trench along the front of the garden bed and then 1 in the middle. I wanted to show you beet seeds. Look so funny. I've never seen seeds look like that before. And you're supposed to just plant 1 or 2 at 4 inches apart from each other and then cover them with dirt and water them. And I'm going to do another trench in the middle of the bed, and then hopefully in between the beets of this flower bed, I can plant some sweet potatoes and the onions. Definitely consider liking and subscribing if you want to stay tuned with how my garden turns out this year. It's an experiment for me every single year. I'm not an expert. I'm still learning how to do it, but I love it so much and it really is a lot of fun for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you making it this far. Here is an overview of the flower pots and how they all turned out. My kids love them. And then here is an overview of the table. It ended up raining the following day, so it's still sitting in my crusty yard.